Hey everybody, this is Glidercat, and it's time to play. We are back in Moose Miners. Let's get back to it. This episode, I want to go through some of my observations and some of the strategy I'm thinking about doing going forward. Now, just before hitting the record button, I scrolled up to the very end border of the gems, and it took over 3 minutes of scrolling just to get up to the top here. But I wanted to show you these gems at the top. It's unbelievable. 77,250 gems just in that one little stack. So you can see we've got a ton of gems to mine. That is just unbelievable. And the map is super wide as well, but that's as deep as we can go. I think that's about as deep. Oh my gosh, look at that. That one's showing 82,000. I don't know if that one is, it looks like it's right on the border of the map. I don't know if we can actually mine those or not, but it's going to be at least 77,250 way as we get up to the top of the map. And I'm just going to fast forward here towards home base. But man, like I said, it took over 3 minutes to scroll up there. But between episodes and kind of up until now, the first few episodes, I've been doing the typical micromanagement of just kind of keeping every one of these tiers, trying to keep these rails close to where the deposits are and trying to minimize the travel time of my miners. I'll do a little bit of that like this. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because I want these other tiers to kind of catch up and level off. But that's mostly what I've been doing between episodes. I did a fair amount of upgrades to the miners. But seeing how many gems we have to mine and how wide the map is too, I've come to the conclusion though that we have to, in order to have any hope of clearing all this, we got to leave this game running in the background when we're not around, because it's just going to take forever. So with that has some bearing on how we do our upgrades, right? So we're not always going to be around to move these rails up. And so the miners are going to get further and further away from where their little drop-off point is. So to me, that would seem to argue for upgrading the miners' carrying capacity. Like if we go to the miners here, upgrading their capacity, trying to max that out so that as they're doing trips that are getting ever longer, they're at least carrying more and more stuff. And then obviously upgrading their speed and trying to maximize that so the trips are shorter. The time they spend actually doing the mining, they're not spending much time at all, right? They're basically just tapping these things and they get a full load right away. This is, this is as high as we're at right now. And these stacks each have 562 gems. And the current carrying capacity of my miners is 767 gems. Here in the top right, you can see it. So I've been starting to do some upgrades there. If you look to the carrying capacity and the speed. Now, if you look at the top of the screen, we've got 107 billion, I think that is. And we're bringing in a good amount of cash. So we've got money for upgrades, but we've also got cash now for the bigger upgrades. Down here at these last two kind of tabs of the upgrade screen. And I've started chipping away at these as well. So we've got price reductions, and if we look at the moose, reduces the price of buying and upgrading moose by 1%. So I've done 5 upgrades here. They started at, I can't remember what it was, maybe 12 billion for the upgrade. This one has been upgraded 5 times, and the next upgrade is going to cost me 56 billion or 56G. We've got 100G, so I could do more of that. But I was thinking, as I'm going to be increasing the speed and the carrying capacity of our miners, like focusing on those upgrades quite a bit, investing in this may not be a bad idea as well, because it's going to reduce the price of buying those upgrades. And then I also figured before that I was going to focus on widening so we can get more miners and go wide. But I'm kind of changing my thinking on that. I'm kind of thinking we should go deep, because as we get deeper, remember I was saying a couple episodes ago when we went wide, we would get more of these yellow gems? Well, it turns out as we go deeper, we get more of these yellow gems too. And I think we get more of everything. Let's go up for a little bit and just see what the resource fields look like. But what I'm currently thinking is if we go north, then we're going to spend less money on the rails early on because these deposits get bigger and bigger. Whereas if we go kind of horizontal, we're tapping into deposits that are really small, and we're going to clear gems faster and have to spend more money on rails early on. So I'm thinking we go north, and look at this. Look at how rich this becomes with more better gems for us to mine. Like these guys are worth $400,000 each, and there's 6,120 of them just in this one stack. So what I'm currently thinking of doing, I'm going to go back down. Okay, here's as high as we are. Thinking about focusing on going vertical for a while, saving up cash, and kind of focusing on some of these upgrades. And particularly with the Moose, because we're going to keep upgrading their carrying capacity and speed so that when we're away from keyboard, they're still fairly efficient as they get further and further away from where they're dropping off their resources. And then maybe focusing on rails too. Storage minecart, we're not doing a whole lot of upgrades on that right now. Crafters, this will come into play when we expand horizontally again. And I think same thing with the balance minecart. So maybe focusing on the Moose here and the rails here are good candidates for upgrades, I think, with my new strategy. But then we got this bonuses tab too. This is pretty compelling, and you can see I've already upgraded some of these. These upgrades are infinite. Supposedly, we can upgrade these unlimited as long as we're willing to spend the cash. There's a question about that down here we'll get to in a second. But I started doing these upgrades, and I just kind of went straight across, did a miner productivity, increases the productivity of the miners by 2.5%. I checked in the Discord, and the developer said, if I understand it correctly, that this just gets us extra output. So if I'm mining a deposit that's got 100 gems on it, and I have this upgrade, I'm going to get 102.5 gems out of that same deposit. So more resources than are currently on the map, not just faster mining of those resources, if that makes sense. I put one into that, and then the next one I did was the loggers, same kind of thing. Get 2.5% extra resources out of each deposit. Then I saw this one, grinder productivity. Does the same thing, increases by 2.5%, increases the output. But the grinders, that applies to both the loggers and the miners. So this one seems to be more compelling. I'm a little short on sleep, so maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. Let me know in the comments. But it would seem that if this upgrade costs the same, and it does, as these other ones, you're getting double benefit because the grinded logs and the grinded gems are going to have a output increase. So then I started stacking up more upgrades here. You can see I've got 3 under grinder productivity, and then logger and miner I've kind of held off on upgrading those anymore. And I probably won't upgrade these until this upgrade costs me 106. You know, one of those and one of those is 106. Then it might make sense to do this over the grinder productivity. I did one on crafter productivity just when I was thinking of doing one of each, but I think I'm going to focus on grinder productivity. Maybe this one too. Not sure. Then we get down to these ones down here, luck. And this just increases the chance that you get a higher tier gem from mining by 1%. And this is supposedly an infinite upgrade, right? You can keep upgrading it, and, 1%, 2%, 3%. But what happens once it's 110%? So the chance that you get a higher tier gem, I don't know if that takes you into like 2 tiers higher, maybe. So if you have 100% luck, maybe that's 100% chance that every gem your miners mine is going to be 1 tier higher. And if you keep upgrading to 200% luck, then maybe it goes 2 tiers higher. I'm not sure. I might have to look on the Discord on that. I've been holding off on those. Same thing, we got miners, loggers, grinders, and crafters. I'm probably going to focus on these ones up here. In fact, I'll do that now. We've got 126 Gs. Let's do another grinder. Now it's up to 77. This crafter one, I have to think about it. Upgrades the crafter's productivity, increasing the output of crafters by 2.5%. Let's take a look. I'm not sure if that's better than this one or not, than the grinder productivity. Let's look and see at the recipes for the gems. That's in here somewhere. Catalog. If I go to wands, yeah, it just shows, you know, this doesn't tell me really how much of each. I think that's one ground down gem and one stick, maybe, to make a wand. It must be, right? So the grinders. Yeah, I just don't know, like, so these guys mine gems. The gems come down the trough here, or come down the rails, down this ramp, and then they get ground down. I don't know if that's like a 1-to-1, or if we get more. This guy's going to drop off. Yeah, I don't know if it's a 1-to-1. 1-to-1 for the mined ore to the ground ore. Guessing it is, but I don't really know. Same thing with the sticks, right? We send logs in, and then we get sticks. Anyway, long story longer, I'm probably going to stay vertical for a while, not expand off to the right like I was doing, because it's kind of costly. These grinders are super expensive to keep pushing out to the side. You can see if we do 100 more grinders off to the right, it costs 26 G for that. That's pretty darn expensive. If instead I focus on going north, we've got tons of gems to mine. Like I said, it took 3 minutes to scroll to the top of the screen. Then I can raise some cash and I can make do these price reductions and make the grinders a whole lot cheaper. You know, I can get this up to 50% cheaper for the grinders. And the map is super duper wide. That would, you know, that savings is going to add up big time. If we go to the right, I mean, I can scroll here forever too. I didn't time it, so I don't know how far this goes, but from last time I played, it was pretty far. I don't know if it's been expanded or not. The depth has been expanded like crazy. The north and south kind of thing. But we could potentially save money by, you know, staying vertical until we get all of these cost savings upgrades done. I don't know how fast the cost of each upgrade is going to go up. But anyway, we can get a bunch of them before we go spreading horizontally. So that's kind of what my current strategy is. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and your strategies. I know there's people on the Discord who have played way longer and are way further along. I've kind of purposely avoided looking at that too much or reading their comments because I don't want to know necessarily what the best strategy is. I'm more interested in kind of experimenting with that myself and seeing, you know, what kind of things work and what things don't. But in the meantime, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep leveling these things off when I'm actively playing, and I'm going to try to get all of the gems at one level. All my miners working at one level. You can see they're all kind of drifting up to the top, which I'm not crazy about, because that means I got to bring them back down manually to work at these lower tiers. I'll do that here in a second. There's some working on the sides. Let's move these guys up. Yeah, I'll do this for the loggers too. There's a whole cluster here. I'm going to steal some of these guys and put them lower. In fact, I can use the shortcuts at the bottom right. I'll do home, and then I'll go all the way to the right, and then I'll find my way back up to where these guys can actually start chewing away at things, and they'll slowly inch their way back up to the top. They'll drift. This, in fact, we can move these guys up quite a bit. Like all of this can probably go up. I'll do these 100 at a time. That'll get those guys up a little higher. We need more miners here, but I think the ones I just dropped down they're going to migrate over here. We might have the same situation here, kind of. Let's move this up a bit. And then once I get this done, there's another couple issues we need to, or I've kind of discovered that I wanted to talk about. That looks all right, except I wish you guys would focus over here a little bit more. The reason they're not is these carts are going down. They're empty. They don't have a place to dump, so they're slowly migrating to where there are carts that they can drop off at. And the reason these ones are all full is because I've got these guys kind of mining on the sides, which I'm not crazy about. Not the end of the world. Let's take some of these guys, though, and push them down. This tier needs some people. Come back up. And is this the top tier? Yeah, that's the top tier. I'll upgrade that a little bit more, then I gotta go do the trees. And I'm kind of intentionally not upgrading this one all the way to the very tip top because I want the other tiers to catch up. Oh, can't get these rows selected. Let's do a little bit at a time, I guess. That's far enough. These guys, I don't have to spend as much on rails as often because there's just so many gems as we go further and further north. I don't have to upgrade rails as much. They are costly upgrades, though. To do 10 rails is about $500,000 just for one column. Let's go down to the bottom. Here's my trees. This is getting wider, which is good to see. Again, I'm not going to take them all the way down because I want the other guys to catch up to these guys. That looks good. Let's keep moving. Yeah, and then we'll talk about a couple other little strategies I've been thinking about. But man, this game, oh man, I can't believe how many gems there are. I'm curious if we're even going to be able to keep track of the score. There is so much money. I mean, trillions, probably trillions of individual gems to mine, taking into account that they're stacked. Each deposit represents a stack of them. These guys, I want to be pretty close to where the deposits are because I want these guys to catch up. Need to bring more miners over here. Let's grab some from lower. My lowest tier it is. Let's just grab some of these guys. And send them up. Or deeper, I should say, or more closer to base, actually. Drop these guys off. This tier needs a bunch. Let's drop them off here. But yeah, if we can get it all level, then this becomes a lot less tedious to do. I have no miners here. I gotta grab some from somewhere. Let's grab just a few of these. I can tune this later between episodes. Let's at least get somebody mining over here. And is that the last tier? I think it is. Yeah, it looks like it. So there we are back at base. Okay, we've got some gems collecting here. That's good to see. One of the problems I was noticing just when I hit record, okay, it looks like it's correcting. I had no gems backed up and I had tons of sticks backed up, but it looks like that's starting to self-correct. Maybe just from the order in which I optimize the rails. Yeah, let's see all these extra sticks I've got. Tons. But yeah, maybe those are starting to get chewed back a little bit. And then our balance minecart, this guy. This is sprung into action. So this guy's moving the surplus trees where they're needed and moving surplus gems where they're needed too. Or maybe just focuses on the trees. I'm not sure. So that's kind of a thing, but we don't have any massive bottlenecks. My rail carts seem like they're able to unload relatively quickly. And we're not backed up. I do have room for more storage here. So what was the other thing? The other thing was, once I get everything leveled off, one thing I haven't played with in this playthrough, I've done it in the past, are the groups. So we could set up a new group. That's down here, new control group. Let's do it just for the heck of it to do it. I'm going to go up top. I'm going to grab some of these guys, some of these moose. And bring them down. I'll use the shortcuts. Let's get down, all the way down. Can I do a new control group with these guys and my cursor? Let's see. I want to keep these guys as minor, but down here at the bottom left, if I click create new control group and then click on the flag and I place it here and I drop these guys into that control group. I widen the range here. Click on one, get it highlighted, and then click on one of the sides. I'm going to drag this over this way. Now I got to reselect these guys because I think they're running away from me. Come on, fellas. Fine, I only need these 4. If I drop them in here, now these guys are going to stay. You can see they have little flags that say 1. They are going to stay within this region, I think. Oh, they may be where they're going all the way up. Not sure where they're going or why they're going up so high. I could shorten it a bit. Let's do it. So if I, again, hover over either one of the sides, let's drag this over here. And now these miners are going to be confined to this area. They may end up coming back down. Let's go one more so they can do that. I just don't want them going all the way up to the top. Fellas. If I can grab them again. Might be just out of range. Got him. I bring these guys down here. Let's try this again. They may not have anywhere to drop off. That's maybe why they're running. Let's. I'm going to add some grinders here. Let's add 100 grinders to the left. That might be my problem. Boom. Grab these guys again. Fellas. Fellas. Pick up moose. Drop these guys down here. Maybe they'll dump off and then they'll start mining this area, I hope. Yeah, they all have 1 still. Little flags that say 1. I gotta upgrade all these grinders and things. Let's do that. Let's put miners, or put our crafters on here. 1 crafters. There's 100 crafters. Let's get them upgraded. We can look at the top right. We got to get 20 wands per craft. So I'll just upgrade that to 20 wands per craft. Oops, 21. That's fine. Storage points. 4. And then speed, we want 2 point, or we want time to craft down to half a second. So I'll keep clicking that till it shows the max craft time at half a second. Okay, now the crafters are equal to all the other crafters we have. Now let's upgrade our grinders. Speed, I need to get to 29.72 K RPM. Okay, that looks good. And I need storage points to 11, so boink, 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 boink. Okay, so now the grinders are equal to all the other grinders. These guys should only operate in group 1. And now I need to create a similar group down here. That's going to be group 2, and I need to select somebody to do it before I can create a group. The select miners to create a control group. I wish I could just create a new one. I'm not sure why we can't. Let's go select a miner. We'll go grab them from way out here. 4 would be perfect, but we got a few here. We got 3. I can go fetch another one and we'll add them to this group. Oops, let's use the shortcuts. Home. And then we want another group that's going to look just like 1. So if I look at group 1, and I'm going to just set it so that display up at the top of the screen is right on the border of where that group is, so I can have it be the same down here. Create new group, flag, drop the flag, drop my moose down. Hopefully they won't run off. That should line up with above. And let's see what the top of group 1 looks like so we can make these perfectly lined up. Group 2, we'll drag this over a little bit. Boom. Now those 2 match. And let's verify these guys have little 2s. They do. And let's grab one more miner from down low. And slap them into group 2. So this is another option or another tool that we can use to start, going horizontal and then having these guys totally locked in. They won't be able to leave this area. So they won't drift off and end up way at the top of the screen. They will keep chewing this column of gems until they get, until we take them out of that group. Basically, they'll keep going all the way up to the top. But this might be a more controlled way of doing it instead of doing the little tiers that I've been doing. The downside is you can only have 10 groups, I think. Pretty sure you can only have 10 groups. And it's, so that's 5 groups per side. So you can only take this strategy so far. You can get as wide as you want with these. But I might do this as well, just so we get a little bit of horizontal productivity, and it's maybe a little easier to control than what I've been doing with these little tiers. Trying to chase and move miners back down to the lower tiers so they catch up. So what I'll do between episodes, I'm going to keep trying to get this whole batch of stuff completely level. And then I'm going to keep spending money on upgrades. Probably focus on these productivity upgrades first, actually, these bonus ones. We've got 90 Gs. This one seems really compelling. I'm going to give some more thought to this one. I did upgrade it once already. This crafter productivity. This may be even better. I'm just not sure. Because this guy's giving us extra sticks and extra gems, so that ends up being extra wands. But this guy gives us extra wands too. So I don't know, maybe these two kind of go together, and then we do these logger and miner productivities once the 2 of them are cheaper than either of these. So yeah, let's do crafter productivity. We'll do that for a while. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Might be a while before the next episode because I'm going to let things run for a good long time. So we got something meaningful to discuss. If I click anywhere on the map, and then, or if I minimize that, and I bring up this info display up at the top right, you can see where we're at right now. We're 3,161 gems deep. So that's the count of gems going this way. If we count all these little rows, that's how deep we are, 3,161. On the trees, we're a little bit further along. Looks like 3,197, but that's pretty darn close. Our company value, so all the stuff, I guess, we can sell things too. We could sell these rails, and down the road, maybe we will. But there's so much money on the map. There's so much money on the map. I don't know how we're going to spend it all, but we'll see. These upgrades might start getting super duper expensive. But yeah, let's see what else. So yeah, company values at 1.18T. We've got 267 miners, and I've got one extra logger. That's fine. Don't care. I kind of did that because, when you start the game out, you've got a bunch of miners and no loggers. But I may balance that. But yeah, before I hit record, I had tons of logs down here, and I had no backup on the gems. Yeah, there you can see we still got a bunch of extra logs, but there's a stack of gems here. So I'll keep an eye on that, looking for backups. I'll be spending cash on these upgrades. And then I'm going to keep, moving these rails. But there's going to be a whole bunch of kind of away from keyboard time where these guys are just going to mine. And then I'll probably throw in some upgrades to the speed of our moose and the capacity of the moose. And then I'll unlock these moose cart upgrades. It's another thing so that I can keep increasing the capacity and the speed. Roller skates are already done. That unlocks more speed upgrades. And then I think jet engines does too. Unlocks increasing the maximum speed upgrade for them. I'm not going to worry too much about the side saws because, again, they don't spend much time here at the gems. They spend most of their time traveling back and forth. So speed and carrying capacity seems like it makes sense. And as we're away from keyboard, this gap's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So those trips are going to get longer and longer. I know I'm repeating myself. I'm kind of short on sleep. But man, we got lots of gems to mine. I don't know if this game is even possible. It's even possible to complete it. But it's fun. It's fun seeing the numbers go up and doing these different upgrades. You can see I've got them. They've got 4 carts now. I don't know how many carts they're going to get. Probably a dozen or more once we're fully upgraded. But yeah, that is it for now. That's the strategy. Again, would love to hear your thoughts and comments. What strategy, if you're playing the game, what strategy are you following? Got any theories on what's more effective to order to do the upgrades and things? Let me know. Looks like I'm off balance here. I got 5 doing gems, or 6 doing gems? Whatever, I'll balance these 2 out. Yeah, it looks like I've got more guys doing this. Are these all assigned to group 1? Looks like it. And they didn't migrate from over here, right? These are my 2s. I'll balance these out, and then we'll see if this strategy works too, as far as a more organized way to expand horizontally. But that's it for now. This is Glidercat saying thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy this series on Moose Miners. Highly recommend this game if you're someone who likes the challenge of completing something, because man, this is a huge challenge to complete. Fairly simple, easy game to understand. Lots of cool upgrades. There's still strategy and stuff you can kind of think through. But yeah, that's it for this one. I want to thank Glidercat patrons and channel members for their support. Deeply, sincerely appreciate it. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next one.